Okay, it's that time again. A little bit of psychology. Booyah! Okay, we're going to look at types of leadership theories, and how you become a leader. So first of all, we're going to look at types of leadership. There are two types that we're going to be looking at. We're looking at task-orientated leaders and social-orientated leaders. Now, task-orientated leaders are all about fulfilling the task. They're not too bothered about relationships within the group. They're about achieving goals, hitting their aims, and that is literally it. So, a task orientated leader is likely to be someone who's not too bothered about how you're feeling at the time. All they're involved in is how you're going to achieve the task. Will you achieve the task? My example here is Darth Vader. Darth Vader is strong in the Force, but he's on the dark side. He's all about absolutes and achieving goals. He's not bothered about your feelings, and if you mess him about, he will force choke you. The other side of it is a social orientated leader. So a social orientated leader isn't too bothered about the outcome of the task, but more involved in the relationships between participants within the group. So a social orientated leader will be very conscious about how people get on, the dynamics of the group, and they want to make sure that the group do get on and there aren't any clashes between individuals or groups of people. An example that I've given is Yoda. Yoda again is strong in the Force. He's not too bothered about the outcome, but he is involved about the process, how people get on with each other. He's involved in, making sure that people feel good, that they're happy. You need to make sure that you apply this to your videos. There are many task and social orientated leaders within each of the films that have been highlighted for Assignment 5. You need to make sure that you can pick out a task orientated leader and a social orientated leader, and ensure that you can give at least 2 examples of where they've demonstrated this and how they've demonstrated it. Okay? Very, very easy. I'm going to move on. Next one. Hello, that doesn't look good. This bit is the prescribed leader and an emergent leader. These are ways that we become leaders. In your film, there is definitely both types of leader, but let's go through what each one of them is. The prescribed leader is someone who's been given leadership by an authority figure. So they've been given a captaincy, they've been given a managerial role. They've just been told you are the leader, and that's final. The group doesn't have a say in your leadership role. An example might be any manager in the Premiership League. They've been given their leadership role by authority figures above them. The emergent leader is someone different. An emergent leader is someone who works their way through the group, and the group choose this leader. The leader is hardworking, is a role model, and earns respect from the group. In the film, there are lots of clues on this page here, but for an emergent leader, what do you think Ronnie Bass in Remember the Titans might be? What do you think Julius Julius in Cool Runnings might be? What do you think Peter LaFleur might be? Okay. On the flip side, think about what Earth Blitzer might be, what White Goodman might be, or what these guys might be in Remember the Titans. Again, you need to make sure that you can explain why they're prescribed or emergent leaders. You would also need to make sure that you've given at least 2 examples of how you can show this. Okay, so if I was going to do a prescribed leader, I could pick Barack Obama. I could say that he is a prescribed leader because he was voted. Actually, is he a prescribed leader or is he an emergent leader? No, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to use someone else. Saddam Hussein. Is Saddam Hussein a prescribed leader or an emergent leader? Okay, next bit is theories of leadership. There are 3 theories, that is trait, behavioural and interactional. By now we should know what all 3 of these words mean. So trait, that is, leadership is part of who you are. You have leadership traits, qualities, characteristics that make you an ideal leader. Some might say that because this is a trait theory, you are born a leader. Okay, you hear people talk about it all the time. Oh, they're a natural born leader. These are people that just have traits that make them a good leader. The next one is a behavioural leader. A behavioural leader is someone who has learnt to be a leader from watching people around them. Alright, they're not a born leader. They're not born with the traits. They learn from significant others via social learning. They view it, they do the same thing, it gets reinforced, they keep that quality, and so on and so forth. An interactional leader is someone who steps up and becomes a leader in the situation. So it may not be that they've got the necessary traits to be a leader, but in the situation, okay, they are a good leader. In the film, you may not find all three of these leadership theories or these types of leaders in your film, but you will definitely find at least two of them. Okay, you need to highlight, if you can, three, and two examples for each. If you can't, at least two. Alright, so if I could give an example of a leader from sport. Okay, a trait. So a trait leader, Michael Jordan might be considered a great leader. All the characteristics to be an awesome leader. Whereas someone like Derrick Rose, who is a Chicago Bulls player, point guard, he's learned how to be a leader over time. He didn't step into the NBA and lead his team straight away like Michael Jordan did, which might suggest, Jordan was born a leader, but over a couple of seasons he became the leader, which meant during his period at the Bulls, he started to learn those behavior characteristics that make good leaders. An interactional leader, it's really hard to determine this in sport because you don't actually know the traits of the individual, but it's anybody who can step up in the situation and become a really good leader. Okay. Now, on top of this, you will also need to. There's another section of leadership, which are the types of kind of leadership that you lead by, and we talked about those: autocratic, democratic, and we have got consultative. So autocratic is, it's my way or the highway. Whatever I say goes. I don't want to hear what the group has to say. I don't want any suggestions from the group. It's just me. I'm a dictator. I'm going to tell you what to do, and you have to do it. The next one is basically the person will take into account the group's suggestions and formulate a path forward from there. So it's a little bit of the leader, a little bit of the group. Consultative is slightly different. Consultative is a leader that will consult with certain individuals in the group. So it might be that the leader has an idea and goes to the captain and talks to the captain, or it might be the captain going to talk to the coach and making a decision from there. But consultative means that you go and consult someone else to come up with the whole leadership role. Okay, so we've got autocratic, which is leading like a dictator. It's my way or the highway. We've got democratic, which is taking the group's consideration, taking the group's suggestions into consideration and making a decision from there. And consultative, where the individual or the coach, manager will go away and consult with other individuals before they make any kind of leadership decision. Alright. Again, you will need to make sure that you can highlight, and you will be able to pretty much use all three of those in your films. Situations where that occurs, but then explain why those individuals are demonstrating those leadership characteristics. Okay.